I'm going to talk a little bit about being a good employee and cost saving. So this digital asset right here just does the basic switches between Wednesday and Friday and does the extrusion. And uh, this is a common problem of new employees or employees in their first couple of years of working, um, if they haven't been fired already. And and the reason why I'm going to talk about this is I've seen this happen before, and I've had to remove people myself because of the problem. And the problem is uh, wasting time wasting time and escalating costs when they don't need to be. So now, like this digital asset just does the basic Wednesday and Friday. I could have done, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I could have done them all, and I could have added all this other stuff in there, which wasn't needed. And if I spent 2 more hours on it, let's say I'm making $50 an hour, that's $100. But it's just not $100. It's how my work relates to the whole schedule of things getting done. So if I did something that causes a delay, that's another cost factor. There are economic terms for that. And plus, there's all this overhead that goes with me because it's not only my salary, but let's say if I get benefits, insurance, rent, computer, software, all that kind of stuff, it's expensive. So calculate the employee's cost per labor, adding their gross wages to their final related cost expenses, including annual payroll taxes and annual overhead. Uh, and so, what is the true cost of an employee? And is there a formula for calculating the true cost of an employee? So, it depends an awful lot by the industry. So, let's say, if someone is selling lemonade by the lemonade stand and you're paying them uh, $10 an hour to sell lemonade, you have that, it's easy to determine that kind of cost. But if you have somebody in a manufacturing plant operating a piece of equipment that is like worth $3 million, like a giant manufacturing thing, if that employee wastes an hour of work, the costs are tremendous, way beyond his salary. And if we're working in computer graphics with a big render farm and we render something that's not necessary. So anyway, I want to stop now because I could talk about this for hours and it should be talked about for hours, but I don't want to waste your time here now because then I'm wasting your time, uh, you know, and my time on something that shouldn't be done. But I just want you to think about it because when you create something like a digital asset, it's very easy to make something that can do all this kind of crazy stuff. And I've seen, people, fair enough, if they're learning how to do something to do, they'll make these digital assets. Like one of the first ones I saw was like making bridges. It's either a bridge or a tunnel. And so it would go through this terrain and the ground was or the track was always on one level, but if it went through a hill, it would make a tunnel. If it went over a valley, it would make a bridge, and it was really cool, and it could do all this kind of stuff. And my and when I was looking at it, I thought, well, that's totally amazing, but it's a play toy. Um, Unless you have a landscape that's really worthy of that. And so one of my bosses, he talked about science projects and he said he was always on the outlook for a science project, which means somebody getting carried away, wasting time, making something technical beyond the needs that it is. Don't make things overly complicated when they don't need to be. And if you put something on your demo reel that's unnecessarily complicated, um, you may uh, you have to explain it, but you may be setting up a red flag that says we have to be careful that this person doesn't do this on the job. We want them to be efficient on the job. Okay. And so you can say, well, I just want to do the best job I can. And somebody says, we're not paying you to do that. We're paying you to do what we want you to do. We're not paying for you to do what you think you should do. Okay. And and even with this project I'm working on right now, remember I told you I'm not doing the bevels, and I'm not doing uh, the letter spacing as closely as it should be, because right now my job is block out my animation to get it to look good, and after we get it look good, then I'll go back in and model according to how I need it to be, which is going to save me a lot more time because I could end up spending lots of time modeling something and then say, well, I don't like that font. Well, then I wasted like a day or 2 days modeling all the days of the week when I didn't need to. So, uh, and so as I'm teaching you this stuff, just be aware that making something with a lot of options on it doesn't necessarily make you more valuable.